Okay, so this movie comes out in just a couple days on July 25th, but thanks to a really good friend, my good friend Brian, I got a chance to see this just a couple days earlier. The film is called Lucy, and it is the new film directed by one of my favorite action directors who hasn't done an action movie in a very long time, or something that I really enjoyed in a very long time. Of course, it is Luc Besson, who gave us La Femme Nikita, The Fifth Element, The Professional, and I believe he directed The Family, which came out last year, which was kind of an action movie, but not really. There was some action near the end. I actually really enjoyed that movie, though I don't know if I would on a second visit. But with this new film, it looked like he was returning back to form with the films that he's done in the past, and I really enjoyed some of those films that I just mentioned right now. Actually, for a while, he was one of my favorite filmmakers, especially when I was kind of getting into science fiction movies. So for this movie, we have Scarlett Johansson. She is the major star. She plays Lucy. She's living in Taiwan. She's kind of just on her own, doing her own thing, and she kind of meets the wrong people. And we get to know her really fast in a short period of time. She's kind of thrust into this world where suddenly she becomes a drug mule and has to ship these drugs that kind of can, if you at least take a little bit, they can really expand your mind. But if you take too much, you probably can explore more than 10% of your brain. Well, things happen and the drugs explode inside her, and now she can use more than 10% of her brain. This movie also stars Morgan Freeman, and there's some other actors that I didn't recognize, that I don't want to butcher their names, but I think I've seen them in their films as well. Morgan Freeman plays this professor that has written like over 600 pages on the brain and the capacity that the brain can get. They kind of get in touch with each other, and then the story goes from there. The movie's less than 90 minutes, which is pretty good for a film like this. You really just want to get right to the meat of the bone and get right with the action. Luckily, I felt like what really helped this film for me was that it didn't really become really preachy. It didn't try and explain itself too much. There was a little bit with Morgan Freeman in the beginning as he's explaining, like having this classroom where he's explaining what's going on and how the brain works. And then at the same time, we're getting to see Scarlett Johansson and her development. Oh my gosh, all these honking going on. I'm going crazy. My brain's hurting. Only 10%, of course, though. So all this stuff's going on as we meet in these two characters, and then eventually they're going to meet, and there's all this action going on in multiple cities all over the world. I don't know where this actually was shot, but the majority looks like it was shot in Paris and probably other locations, because it is a Luc Besson film. He is from France. So yeah, I really had no expectations for this movie at all. I wasn't really super excited, though I really enjoy Luc Besson and I really enjoy his films. He's probably the only reason I was excited to see this movie, if I had any anticipation. But what I liked about this movie the most is that it just kept on going, and it had a fun factor to it. It was like a roller coaster a roller coaster ride. We're ups and downs. We're going this way and out. There's some really great action set pieces. There's some really great special effects. There's a really great car sequence that I feel used too much CGI. I'm not really sure. It looked like there was probably too much CGI going on in that aspect of the movie. But, you know, I just liked that the movie kept on going, and it just went by really fast. We got to this point in the movie, this point, and then it ended. I think if it would have tried to explain itself for a long period of time, it would have definitely bored me in some aspect. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It's not great science fiction. It's definitely turn your brain off science fiction. I think if you read too much into this movie, you're probably not going to enjoy it. You'll probably get kind of pissed off by the film, and you might not find it to be intriguing at all. But I liked Scarlett Johansson. I thought she was really good. Morgan Freeman adds his personality to the film as the smart guy, and then Scarlett is really good at convincing us that she's getting smarter and smarter and smarter. I really enjoyed the editing style this way. At first it was a little jarring because I didn't know where we were at sometimes, and then I could understand as the movie was going, I could understand why it's being edited in this way. I enjoyed the music from the get-go. That was probably my favorite aspect of the movie, was the music, and it was nice to see at the end of the credits it was written by Eric Serra. Now Eric Serra, I believe, has worked with Luc Besson throughout his entire career, especially when he directs films. He hasn't really written the score to every movie that he's directed, but the majority, like La Femme Nikita, The Professional, The Fifth Element, and I think that movie about Joan of Arc that he wrote, and probably some other films after that. But I always liked Eric Serra's approach to music. It feels feels real and industrial, and it was really cool to listen to it. I was like, man, this score sounds so familiar, it sounds so cool. And then it was really nice to see that it was him at the end. I have to say my favorite moments of the movie were the score. The story was nice, it moved along, it kept my interest. I enjoyed the action. I didn't feel like I was seeing anything new or different. It took a lot of these ideas from other movies and then kind of, come up with his own, but at the end it did feel a little used. And so I can't say that it is the most original idea, but I felt like it did a good job at being what it wanted to be. It got what it wanted to do, accomplished what it wanted to do, and for that I have to say it's a solid science fiction movie. It's definitely worth a matinee. And for that I'm going to give Lucy, which comes out July 25th, I'm going to give the film a solid 3 stars out of 4. I'm MovieManCHAD. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Twitter and I'm on Facebook. And please go to WeLiveFilm.com and subscribe right here on YouTube to We Live Film. Also go to Long Beach Acting and Film Association right here on Facebook and Twitter. Please also go to MoviePod.com, and if you've enjoyed this video review, please click right here. Subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Please have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night, and a wonderful life, and I'll see you in my next movie review. Peace be with you, my friends.